So he leaves office and he becomes co-chairman of the Bush National Security Advisory Task Force, and he endorses Bush for president. That's Bush Sr., which signaled his break with the Democratic Party. So that shows you all you need to know, really. These parties really mean nothing. It's the same people inhabiting both sides of the aisle. He publicly opposed the Gulf War, and he argued that the United States would squander the international goodwill it had accumulated, and it could trigger wide resentment through the Arab world. Now, of course, that's something that we are seeing now with the whole Israel-Palestine situation. The Arab world is starting to pay a lot of attention to the United States, to also here in England, same thing is happening. We've got these large Muslim populations, and they are gaining more influence and clout, because we just saw Keir Starmer threatening to recognize Palestine if Israel didn't stop indiscriminately murdering people there. Messy, ridiculous stuff. But it's been going on quite a long time. Brzezinski negatively viewed the succession of Vladimir Putin and became one of the foremost advocates of NATO expansion, right? So there again is your push, your advocacy for the one world system. He wrote in 1998 that without Ukraine, Russia ceases to be a Eurasian empire. So that's 1998, way before the Ukraine-Russian conflict erupted. So you can see he's involved in things that are playing out in the present day, 2025. And he was involved in them back then. He was commenting on them, observing them, and writing about them. He later came out in support of the 1999 NATO bombing of Serbia. I just can't wrap my head around people who support bombing. It's just, that's the only reason I highlighted that. I don't know anything about the Kosovo war or this situation, but just the fact that he came out in support of bombing, tells you a lot about him. Brzezinski argued against the 2003 invasion of Iraq. So this is where it turned for me a little bit, because I started to read things that I agreed with. But he argued against the invasion of Iraq and said it would be a mistake. He called President George W. Bush's foreign policy catastrophic, which of course it proved to be so. He was a leading critic of George Bush's conduct of the war of terror. In the Washington Post in 2007, he excoriated the Bush administration, arguing that their post 9/11 actions had damaged the reputation of the United States infinitely greater than any wild dreams entertained by the fanatical perpetrators of the 9/11 attacks. He later stated that he had visceral contempt for British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who supported Bush's actions in Iraq. So again, this is another point where I'm like, okay, that's something I actually agree with. I have visceral contempt for Tony B. Liar as well.